So I focus on establishing urban agriculture, especially for Bridgeport. This is just an overview map that Corey was so nice to give to me. So what I did is I went through with the help of Corey and outlined a bunch of different areas that would be good for different methods of urban agriculture. So some of them rooftop farming, community gardens, vertical farming. This is one method that they already have, urban education, and they use it for the aquaculture school, which I think is pretty neat. Pretty neat method that they have. And one of the ideas that I came up with was putting maybe a garden next to it so that it could be used by the school. Fish farm, so one of the locations, the brown field in particular that we discussed earlier, if we put a fish farm on there, especially it would help with that industry in the creek that Paul was talking about. Obviously, the benefit of that would be the fresh seafood. Fish farms are actually becoming more and more popular, and as another method of just making sure our food is kind of being grown right where we are and doesn't travel as far. Greenhouse is another way, so that closed system, the controlled environment agriculture. So these can be placed on the rooftops and just in general, and there was a couple of locations that I mapped out that would be great for greenhouses freestanding. As they said, they're controlled environments, so they can be very beneficial. You can make them grow whatever you want for whatever particular environment you want them to have. So if it's a tropical, like he said, that you can just change it to that environment. Year-round production, so you're getting that food year-round, so you won't have, it's all provided for you. You won't have to constantly go to the grocery store for that produce. It's something that the city could greatly benefit from, especially since there are people that don't have cars and it would be just right by them. The community gardens, it has social and economical benefits, especially when it's just put near all the housing and they can go out there and cultivate and harvest and grow their own crops and bring that food back to their family. Sometimes it opens up jobs. That fresh food is the main benefit of that, and the people are getting that fresh food and actually promotes healthy living, which we're actually seeing a higher obesity rate, so it will probably help decrease that. Cultivating and harvesting and growing your own produce right next to your neighbors is something that promotes the social aspect of it, and having that as part of an environment is great so that you can, get to know one another. Hydroponics is another thing. It can be indoors, it can be outdoors. Kind of has that vertical aspect of vertical farming, but it's being seen more and more. A lot of people, I know that there's a place in Manchester that they're thinking about establishing it indoors. It's near the parkade. And then aquaponics is the process of like growing everything in water, which I'm pretty sure that's what he was showing in the space, what they were growing in space, which is pretty cool. And that's actually located in a greenhouse, but you can do those outside, you can do those indoors in regular buildings, anything. Rooftop farming, so you can do raised beds, you can do other forms of growing, you can do the vertical farming, you can do put greenhouses on there, pretty much just provide that extra produce right on top of where you're living. And so in Bridgeport, I was thinking about doing it on top of the housing complexes that they have, so that you can just have everything right there. The green roofs, providing more of a green open space throughout the city, and so that it's more appealing, especially from the highway like we were discussing. the vertical farming, so it's kind of like a smaller method, but you can do it in different methods. You can do it in the method of growing on top of one another in the whole space of the building, or you can just do it on a basis like this on a small scale. It's pretty popular, not as popular as some of the other systems. Chickens, so a lot of people are doing chickens. When I did my case study in New York, there was a lot of different farms that had chickens on their roofs, and they were just all penned in and penned on the top so that they couldn't get out and everything like that. And that just provides also fresh chicken for them, and in addition to the eggs that they may be laying. And then I never knew that beekeeping can be done in an urban setting. It's actually becoming pretty popular in a lot of other cities out west, and I think it would be good for Bridgeport to maybe establish something like this, even if it's not a small scale. That honey is something that it's actually becoming very popular. Every time you go to a store, you see honey, and locally grown honey is something that everybody's looking for. And I think that would greatly benefit them on an economical scale, sell it as a bigger market, and then it might potentially help them. And then I decided to end with a couple of funny comments.
Oh, tractor, that's a tractor.
Yeah.